I'm glad you're joining us for Open Line tonight. We are talking about the coronavirus, what it means for our county and also the state. Dr. Alex Jahangir is joining us. He is the head of the Metro Coronavirus Task Force, the chairman. Thank you, Dr. Jahangir, for joining us once again. I do want to ask you, we returned to a modified phase 2. It seems like, about 1 or 2 weeks ago. Is phase 1 a return to that? Is that on the table?
I think when we laid out the phase planning, we really didn't have as much knowledge of where things were moving. And now we have more data with contact tracers, with a lot of testing. And so it allows us to really be strategic in how we approach any further closures and so forth. So, for example, a lot of people worried that gyms would be a place of transmission. Well, thus far in Nashville, knock on wood, we haven't seen that. And so that is why we're not going after gyms per se right now, or looking to close gyms. We're trying to be very strategic. I think when we went to modified phase 2, we saw that really large gatherings, bars and so forth is where it was happening. That's why we did what we did. So I think it's just, we're going to be strategic, and nothing's off the table as long as it keeps us safe.
Gotcha. Okay, let's get back to the phone lines. Dwayne has been patiently waiting. Hi, Dwayne, go ahead.
Oh, yes. Hey, I'm one of your music people here in town, and right there in Davidson County. I had two small questions.
Okay.
One is that how long in the future do you see the bars being closed down? Is it going to go on into, how far into August do you think it's going to go into? Mm-hmm. And also my second question on the unemployment help for the musicians, and do you see any of that going from the 25th of this month? I heard cutoff that was the 25th of this month. Is it going to go on into another month or so and help us out? And that's really all I have.
And Dwayne, I'm going to hang up on you so you can listen to your TV.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm going to answer the unemployment question because that's something that we've been covering in the news a lot. That $600 that's been coming from the federal government, the pandemic relief from the federal government, that is set to expire. The last time you can claim that is through this week up until Saturday, and then it's supposed to expire. But Congress is working right now on another relief bill. How quickly they do that is a big question mark. None of us know. Just something you're going to have to stay tuned to. But right now that $600 goes away after this week, unfortunately. I know for a lot of our musicians, that's their livelihood right now. So, Dr. Jahangir, you can answer the questions about the talks about the bars. What happens with them?
Well, right now, they're scheduled to expire at the end of July. Let's watch the numbers. Let's see how things are doing, and let's make a decision based on that.
Okay, so we'll leave it there. Okay, Tamara is on the line. Tamara, thank you for being with us. Go ahead. Tamara, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, go ahead. Hello, go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Jahangir. I have a question for you about the vaccination. I know they have one that, they think it's going to come available. However, will it become effective right then, or will it be like the flu shot? We'll have to wait, a year for it to become effective.
Okay, let's talk about vaccines, because a lot of folks are saying this is the light at the end of the tunnel. This is what will kind of let us go back to life as normal. Tell us what you know about vaccine trials right now and vaccine development here in the U.S.
Well, Tamara, it's a great question. Vaccine trials right now are moving faster than I think in the history of any kind of vaccine development ever. We are now, there's one, maybe two companies here in the United States that are in what we call phase 3 clinical trials. So the way a vaccine works is, first of all, you have to make it in the lab. Then you inject that in about 10 people to make sure it doesn't cause really bad side effects. And then you go inject it in about 50 people, and you try different dosages. So phase 1 was we just make sure, hey, you're not getting a side effect. Phase 2, you check the dosing to see what dose is effective. Now we're in a phase 3 for these. In Nashville, Meharry Medical College, as well as Vanderbilt, and maybe some other places are actually partaking in these phase 3 trials, which I think begin in a few weeks. They're going to inject, I think it's 2 doses of the vaccine, or I'm sorry, it's 1 dose, but 2 shots in about 1,000 people here in Middle Tennessee. And then half the people will get placebo, meaning it's kind of not really the vaccine, and half people will get the vaccine. And at that point, they're going to see if it works. So I don't think it's going to take a year to see if you were injected with the vaccine to see if it works. Now, if that goes well, then they'll go into what's called a phase 4 clinical trial, where thousands and tens of thousands of people will get the vaccine. And only after that will we have millions of people who need the vaccine maybe get developed and get the vaccine. So it's a long process, but being here in Nashville, there may be an opportunity for you or somebody else to be part of the clinical study that will one day hopefully save millions of people. So I reached out to Vanderbilt or Meharry Medical College to get the exact details of where that is. But there may be a chance for vaccinations as early as a few weeks from now. But if we get this by early next calendar year, that would be amazing. So hope that answers your question.
As a physician, does it worry you the speed that these are being developed?
Well, yes and no. I have confidence in the FDA and the process of that. This is faster than anything else, but technology is also much more different, right? So you can have computers that make models. From what I understand, from what I've learned, is literally China released this genetic sequence of this virus in January to the U.S. and others. So from that moment, people were able to work on potential vaccines, where before you'd have to have the actual vaccine, the actual bacteria or virus here in the U.S. So it's just different right now than ever in our history. But don't expect things to just solve, because we're in such a society everything expects to be solved within like 30 minutes, right?
Right.
This may take longer than a few months, but it's moving faster than ever before.
Okay, let's get back to the phone lines. Cynthia is on the line. Hi, Cynthia.
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing well. Tell me your question.
I got a question for him. There's this voting going on, but the state's closed. I need a Social Security card. I have lost mine, so I can be an essential worker, but I've got to have that Social Security card, and they want me to send in my driver's license, my valid driver's license, and that's going to take 3 weeks to a month, which I haven't even received the other yet, the letter from them, so I can fill it out. And then one says it's not bad, the other says it is bad. You see people with mask, without mask. What are we supposed to do? I'd like really to know what the truth is 100%.
Well, what truth are you looking for? Because Dr. Jahangir can't help get your Social Security card. But what's
he
the
has
truth?
nothing to do with the state?
No, he doesn't.
So the state's just closed. I've even called Alexander's office.
Dr. Jahangir, if you want to explain your role, I think that may help.
Yeah, no, so listen, so yes, with the state issues, all, senators, Secretary of State office Secretary Hargett. I'll tell you this, regarding masks, the truth is this. Masks have been shown to be very effective in decreasing transmission of this virus. If 80 to 95% of the society wears a mask, the virus transmission goes down to 1/12 where it is. The president today came out in support of masks, and I'm grateful for that. Governor Lee has stated that. Mayor Cooper has said that. Mayors all around the city, around our other counties have said that. That's the truth around masks. And I think whether you're going voting or you're going to Social Security office, wear a mask. But I do think for those other issues, yeah, please reach out to the federal or state authorities. I work for Mayor Cooper in the city, so thank you.
All right, thank you, Cynthia. I'm sorry we couldn't help you more. And Dr. Alex Jahangir is obviously, he works for the Metro Health Department, also an orthopedic surgeon here in town at Vanderbilt, right? The trauma surgeon. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, let's go to Hazel. Hazel's on the line. What's your question, Hazel?
My question is twofold. One is I would like to know the doctor's opinion of public pools such as the Y, and also we live in a very small subdivision. Our pool is not opened, and years past there's only been 2 or 3 people there at a time. So I would like to know his opinion of that, as well as false positives on the drive-throughs, as well as false negative testing.
Okay, great questions. Thank you very much. I'm going to hang up so you can listen to your TV. Let's start with the public pools and even small neighborhood pools. Are they safe?
Yeah, so in short, yes. Pools are safe as long as you practice social distancing when you're sitting outside the pool. The chlorine appears to kill the virus. So if you're in the pool and you're swimming, no problem. Now, if you're in the pool and you're like jumping on people, probably not a good idea. And when you're outside of the pool, socially distance from people like you would any other scenario. So pools are perfectly fine. And then the second question, I'm sorry, I slipped my mind.
False positives and false negatives when it comes to the testing. And this has been a talk. You hear a lot about it.
Yeah, the test that actually tests for the virus, not the antibody test, is one where they put it in the nose, and some of them still go in the back, but now they're starting to do it more superficially. Those still have about a 70 to 75%. Let me rephrase it. They have about a 20 to 30% false negative rate, meaning you have the virus, but when you do the test, 20% of the time it doesn't show up. Now, if it turns positive, it means you have the virus. So it has there's in medicine, there's this terminology, sensitive or specific. If the test turns positive, you have the virus. If it turns negative, about 20% of people have it. It turns negative on. So if it turns positive, assume you have it. If it turns negative and you still have the symptoms, go back and get tested again.
Okay, very interesting. Rich is on the line. Rich, what can we answer for you?
Oh.
Hi, Rich. Go ahead. It's your turn.
Yeah, my question is this. I hear a lot of politicians saying that we should be wearing masks. But what's holding them up and not making it mandatory to wear a mask and save a lot of people's lives?
Good question. You want to tackle that one, Dr. Jahangir?
So the question, why not make mask mandatory to save lives?
Yes.
I agree with you, 150%. I think and Mayor Cooper, and we did that a few weeks ago. I really commend a lot of the mayors, irrespective of party, I want to highlight, and political philosophy around us in Middle Tennessee have done that, and I commend them for that. The president today said everyone should wear a mask. I mean, I think a national mask mandate would be really helpful, and I think a state mask mandate would be helpful. And I think part of the reason we see our surrounding counties now doing it is the leadership of Commissioner Ezell and others in the state. So I think mask mandates should happen, and it's a really small price to pay for what has been shown to be very effective in getting this virus down, so we can get back to our life and open our economy.
I personally have seen a lot more people mask up just as a habit now in the last 2.5 weeks. How long till we see that show up in the case numbers? What's realistic?
Yeah, so I would say probably realistically 2 life cycles of the virus, which is 14 days each. So within 2 to 4 weeks, assuming that 80 to 95% of the society wears it, within 2 to 4 weeks, you start seeing those numbers go down.
And do you think it would be a dramatic drop if we can get that 80 to 90% wearing?
I do. I think if you want to really geek out, there's a article in a journal called Health Affairs, and it was put out about a month or within the past month, and it showed at the time 15 states and the District of Columbia had mask mandates, and it showed that they really saw initially a 2% drop within the first week or two, but that compounded to about a 30 to 40% drop within the first couple of weeks. And so I think there's a lot of evidence out there. You look at countries like Japan, where wearing a mask is very typical and not stigmatized, and they haven't had a really big crisis with this. They don't have a crisis with flus because they're used to it with bird flu and other things. So I think just wear a mask, just make it happen.
All right. Right now we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to come back. We got lots of callers on the line, so we'll get to you right after this.